Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Louise Houghton.
Hello from Berlin and welcome to the show today with a compilation of the week's highlights. Here's what's coming your way. Innovative ideas, how young designers are promoted at Berlin Fashion Week. Heavenly choreography, how Austrian light artists get drones to dance in the sky. And versatile material, how an Italian designer uses synthetic resins for his creations. This past week, the main tent for Berlin Fashion Week has been on the other side of the Brandenburg Gate. The schedule consisted of show after show of fashion labels presenting their latest collections. And this always makes it hard for up-and-coming designers to get their work into the spotlight. 10 lucky German labels have been given a unique platform to showcase their work, though, in the hopes that they too will be at the main tent before long.
For many fashionistas, the marquee at the Brandenburg Gate is the emblem of Berlin Fashion Week, with a steady stream of designers and visitors coming and going. Just a short walk away in the upscale Hotel de Rome, things are more relaxed. Here at the Vogue Salon, 10 designers and fashion labels are presenting their designs to a select audience from the fashion world. The salon was set up for the first time in the summer of 2011 by Christiane Arp, the editor-in-chief of Vogue Germany.
Es hat mich irgendwann einfach wirklich genervt.
It annoyed me to keep hearing that there was no good fashion design in Germany. I didn't want to agree, but I didn't want to keep preaching. Our language is often visual, so I thought I'd create images. That's the basic idea of the Vogue Salon. First and foremost, to create a meeting place between designers and boutiques, because that's essential. These young designers have to be able to sell and to be able to finance further collections.
One of the buyers visiting the Vogue Salon today is Josef Vogt, owner of the renowned Berlin concept store, The Corner. He sells top-class fashion by international fashion labels such as Saint Laurent, Valentino or Christian Louboutin. The businessman always attends Christiane Arp's salon at the Fashion Week.
It definitely simplifies things for us, particularly a business like ours, which purchases high-class fashion. She has a great eye that saves us from visiting lots of studios and looking at lots of collections, because she's already gathered the best of Berlin creativity in this show.
The Vogue Salon has already taken place 8 times at the Hotel de Rome. Each one of the 10 labels on show have been hand-picked by Christiane Arp. They will subsequently receive advice and support over the course of 4 seasons. The fashion has to be well tailored, of course, but there are also other criteria.
Es muss mich berühren.
It has to touch me, first of all. And it has to have something about it where I can see that there's a strong voice, which might still be in need of training. Another criterion is that they dare to say, Christiane, it's fine that you see things like that as editor-in-chief of Vogue and that you give me advice, but I see things differently. Great. They need that strength. These young people have to assert themselves.
Augustin Teboul have managed that. The Berlin label is showing its latest collection for autumn-winter 2015, not far from the Vogue Salon. The Franco-German design duo were Vogue Salon protégés, and their work is now gaining international attention.
I think it all started with, us being noticed by Christiane Arp and being part of the Vogue Salon. This is, I think, where people started to consider our work.
I think the important thing about the Vogue Salon is that we got the Vogue stamp of approval. That creates a certain credibility.
Karen Jessen is just embarking on her career. The 29-year-old is making her first appearance at the Vogue Salon with her label Bernu Berlin this January. On the eve of the show, she puts the finishing touches to the designs in her studio. Karen Jessen's fashion is made from used jeans and old sofa leather. She's hoping to find the perfect customer via Vogue Salon.
Ich möchte die Frau ansprechen.
I want to appeal to the woman who is conscious in two different ways. Who's environmentally conscious, but also fashion conscious. And I think that's sometimes still difficult with some of the other eco-labels, that they don't bring these two things together.
For Benu Berlin, Vogue Salon is the first step into the world of commerce. Karen Jessen has 2 hours to explain her concept to the buyers and media representatives. The young designer is happy about the initial response.
I have already got to know 1 or 2 potential buyers who were very interested. We'll talk about the details later. Otherwise, I'm still waiting to see what happens, because it's not over yet.
Christiane Arp's Vogue Salon is going down well again this season. Her commitment to the fashion industry is plain to see. The German Fashion Council has just been set up, an agency designed to raise the profile of German fashion abroad, with Christiane Arp as its patron.
Now, the police in the Austrian city of Linz have had a lot of calls of late from people who believe that they've seen UFOs. But the strange lights are actually just part of a local project. The Ars Electronica Centre have been attaching LEDs to small drones and sending them up into the night sky to produce intriguing light shows. And they're causing quite a stir on the ground below.
Lights in the sky form patterns, scatter, and move in perfect sync, as if controlled by an invisible hand.
It's impossible. You just can't explain it. You start to speculate. They may be balloons, or maybe there are cranes controlling these lights. But then they rotate and fly over and around each other, and you run out of explanations. That's when technology becomes magic.
What you can't see in the dark, the tiny lights are LEDs attached to quadrocopters, little drones that move through the sky almost noiselessly. They were developed by the Ars Electronica Institute's Future Lab in Linz, Austria. The drones' bodies are produced by a German company. The lab created the light designs, called Spexels, itself.
They can produce any hue. First, we run them through a test routine. White, then R, G and B, red, green and blue. And using those 3 colors, we can create any colors we like.
The drones are lined up in rows before they're launched. The choreographies are done using a software the team developed themselves, which also keeps the drones from crashing in mid-air. Every few seconds, a GPS system updates the computer on each drone's position.
A computer on the ground communicates with each drone and directs its positions. At that point, we're only really on hand to monitor things. The swarm acts autonomously in conjunction with a computer, which just runs through its programming.
The challenge is to keep them up in the air in their correct formation. Problems are often caused by the wind. If one of the drones crashes, a €3,500 piece of technology is wasted. So far, there's been no serious damage. The first show in 2012 in Linz was a big success. Almost 50 drones took to the sky at the same time, a world record yet to be broken. Soon, more requests started coming in. For example, from Umeå in Sweden for the ceremony launching its year as European Capital of Culture in 2014. Or from Australia, where the team drew a kangaroo over the skies of Brisbane. Spexels also added some real razzmatazz to a stage show in Sharjah, in the United Arab Emirates. Some people wonder if the mysterious flying lights are objects from another world.
That happens all the time. Reports keep showing up in the press about people in the neighborhood where we'd been flying the drones having sighted UFOs. I think it's fantastic.
Now Future Lab operates a fleet of 75 drones, but they have yet to take to the skies all at the same time.
The more of these points of light in the sky, the more means of expression and ways to vary them you've got. The system as it exists right now could easily handle 100 or 200 vehicles. And we've set ourselves that goal. We intend to achieve that and more.
The fleet of drones is set for launch soon, this time on course for the United States, on a mission to dazzle audiences with their bright choreographies.
The European Union have designated 2 cities as capitals of culture for 2015. Pilsen in the Czech Republic is one of them. Before now, this city has mainly been famous for its beer. But after 12 months of cultural events, locals hope it will become known for a lot more than that.
Pizen, open up. That's the motto of Europe's new capital of culture. A symphony composed for the occasion and videos projected on the walls of buildings created a magical atmosphere during the opening show. While a tightrope walker seems to float over the marketplace to the cathedral, and bells sound in St. Bartholomew's Cathedral for the first time in 70 years. The old ones were melted down during the Second World War.
I'm happy that even more people are going to visit the city this year, and we will get to talk to them. And I think it's good that there are so many events for children and adults.
I think it's a unique opportunity for the city.
This one-time grey industrial city has undergone a major facelift since the end of communism at the beginning of the 1990s. Pizen is home to 170,000 people, making it the 4th largest Czech city. In the historic center, listed buildings surrounding one of Europe's biggest market squares bear witness to Pilsen's former prosperity.
We would like to show that creativity is the main driver for the change, and also it's an asset that we need to work with to keep Pilsen an inspiring place to live and to visit.
Pilsen is known throughout the world for its beer, Pilsner, which was first brewed here in 1842. 500,000 people visit the Pilsner Urquell brewery every year.
Our cellars are built of sandstone. After fermentation, we store the beer in oak casks, here at a temperature of 4 to 6 degrees Celsius. That's what defines the quality of our beer. And it's the key to our success.
In the 19th century, 260 citizens of Pizen joined forces to build the cellar vaults, which stretch 4 kilometers. They also hired Josef Groll, the Bavarian brewmaster, who introduced a new technology for fermentation at low temperatures and brewed the first Pilsner. Pilsen's best-known artist is Jiří Trnka. He was one of Europe's top animation filmmakers. To mark the start of the city's year as capital of culture, an exhibition showcases the full spectrum of his work: painting, puppet making, film, and illustrations. Jiří Trnka, who was often described as the Walt Disney of Eastern Europe, based his art on the Czech puppet theater tradition. Most of his films were made to appeal to adults who have managed to preserve a childlike view of the world.
Government censorship of animation films was not as strict as it was for feature films involving actors. That was an advantage and offered my father more freedom to realize his ideas. Still, he kept on coming into conflict with the regime but he always retained his artistic freedom. For him, self-censorship was out of the question.
The authorities only realized during preparations for the events in 2015 that Austrian architect Adolf Loos had also left his mark on the city. He designed 13 apartments in Pizen during the 1920s and 30s. Many of them have been lovingly restored.
If you look at the interiors, the main axis and the subsidiary axis are always symmetrical. And another thing that's typical of Adolf Loos's work is that he didn't use any artistic ornamentation, only organic ornamentation. That's why he used marble or wood. They were his favorite materials.
The wallpaper in this former office has been restored, but the furniture is not original. The apartments are already a popular tourist attraction. Pizen, open up. It's a motto which is intended to change the city for good.
Now, German fast food is known pretty much around the world, but there aren't many other cities where you can have a taste of authentic German sausages. However, in London, 2 expats have been importing this traditional delicacy from their native Black Forest and selling it at their ever-expanding popular restaurant called Herman the German.
Bockwurst, Bratwurst, currywurst. In London's lively Soho district, Herman's a German is all the rage.
It feels like very good quality and it's flavourful. I like it, it's got flavour to it.
I spent a year in Berlin as part of my studies, so I thought it would be nice to maybe see if the cuisine that was offered here, the German-style cuisine, lived up to what I'd experienced actually in Germany. So, and it has. It's really good.
At home in Germany, I don't usually eat currywurst, but because I don't live there anymore, a currywurst has started to feel like a bit of home.
When he followed his girlfriend to Britain over 10 years ago, Florian Fry never thought he'd become a sausage seller. Back then, his partner Azadeh Falak Shahi was still studying in Brighton.
I can't say that I ever wanted to sell sausages.
Neither of us planned that. It started out really small, but then it took off. And now, of course, we're really happy it worked out the way it did.
The sausage business began because of the couple's love of the food. But to get proper German sausages, they had to import them from their hometown butcher back in the Black Forest. First for themselves, then for friends.
We filled up our suitcases and even our backpacks. It was a lot. We missed it. It's always like that when you leave things behind. You think, that's so delicious, why don't they have it here? And you want to show everyone how tasty it is.
And so Herman's a German was born. At first, the 2 hit music festivals in a converted trailer, and sausage lovers bought in droves. One reason was the business name incorporating a well-known German mispronunciation.
Everybody who walked by just laughed and took pictures.
They didn't even look at what we had to eat. Just the logo on the side of the trailer. That was enough to interest people.
That weekend we almost sold out, and we'd really ordered a lot.
We couldn't believe it.
The couple opened their first store 4 years ago in downtown London. They serve pork bockwurst, veal and pork bratwurst, and spicy chiliwurst made of beef and pork. But the house specialty is currywurst. Now with 2 eateries, Herman's a German's owners need around 1.5 tons of curry ketchup to meet demand every month to garnish 800 kilograms of sausage imported from southern Germany.
Lots of people say they won't be able to tell you something cheaper, but I don't agree. There are so many great places to eat in London. You have to offer the best you can if you want to be taken seriously and succeed.
The Herman's a German menu includes sauerkraut, even though it's not actually traditional to eat sausage with sauerkraut in Germany. but then tried telling people in Britain that.
The customers got quite upset about it. They'd say, if there's no sauerkraut, then I don't want the sausage either. You mean you're German and you don't have sauerkraut? So we thought, okay, if that's what they want, then we'll sell it to them. And these days we eat it too, because it is pretty delicious.
Once in a while.
London now has a number of sausage snack bars, like the Wurst Club in the city or the Kurzenlang at nearby Smithfield Market. But Herman's a German remains the most popular. Even celebrity chef Jamie Oliver sought tips from Florian Fry on his popular television show.
What's the inside knowledge on this banger? If you're going to Germany with this product, they're not going to take you serious.
In 2012, the two Germans did the catering at the MTV Europe Awards and immediately gained a new fan. Supermodel Heidi Klum ordered a dozen of Herman's sausages. But one last question, who is Herman's a German?
He's a bit shy.
I think I saw him this morning.
He sometimes drops by in the morning. You'd like him, but he's a little unusual.
Herman's a German might shun the limelight, but this sausage ambassador to London has certainly done his job well.
Now, what I have here is a resin granule, one that usually ends up in the form of headlight shields on cars or bikes. Italian designer Jacopo Foggini uses this synthetic material to create fascinating pieces of furniture, some of which are soon to go on display in Milan.
Organic shapes and glistening colors. These chairs and lamps are made from methacrylate, usually used to make industrial products such as car reflectors. Jacopo Foggini prefers to make unique pieces out of it, a dream he's had since childhood when he discovered the material in his father's factory.
Everything started from a day in which I was a little boy, and I saw from the nose of this machine coming out this material for the first time. And it was like a seam in my brain, in my imagination, that slowly grow until the moment that I decided to change my life and to dedicate my career to using this material.
The 48-year-old has a studio in Milan where he works on prototypes with his team. To make the pieces, the granules have to be melted at a temperature above 300 degrees Celsius, then color is added, and the material is molded into shape.
Yes, of course it's dangerous because the material is very hot and you have a few seconds to move it. And there is no stamp, no anything, so everything is really done by hands.
Jacopo Foggini's latest creation is the Gilda Bee chair. He designed it for the Italian high-end furniture company Edra.
He has this name because it's dedicated to Gilda Boiardi, the director of Interni magazine, which is like a second mom for me, more or less. It's a fantastic woman. She's the woman that she invented the Salone del Mobile. So together we did most of 20 installations from snakes of 64 meter long or huge, really crazy project together.
Foggini's work has been shown in dozens of museums and galleries around the world, and every year he exhibits at the Milan Furniture Fair. This installation was created for the 2012 Fuori Salone there. This installation at the Basilica di Sant'Ambrogio was entitled Symbols. Foggini also works together with international architects and designs the interiors of hotels, museums, and private homes.
To work, I feel like to be a child, and I think that this is the right attitude to develop any project. So I play with this material, imagining my world from light to chair to table to everything.
And all of it made from a material that was originally only meant for manufacturing car parts.
Well, that is all we have time for on the show today. Then Anne will be with you in the next edition, and I will see you again very soon. Until then, take care and goodbye. Cheers.